Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour, Assalamu Alaikum, Osio. It's your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live and for the fact. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping new content. Leave a comment, interact with me, give me a thumbs up, let me know how I'm doing. I really do appreciate your viewership. Let's jump into another one. Today, I want to talk about angels and souls. Now, I was kind of given like a download about this maybe like on the 27th, and I've been like working with it a little bit, trying to make a script and drawing from some concepts I've seen, some ideas I've seen on like different forms of media, and also from the Quran Circle 7. So starting off, I actually want to read a bit that I was thinking about angels, cherubim and seraphim, the ancient names for angels. All right, I want to read some of that out of the Circle 7 Quran, and then I want to talk about some of the ideas I have about like angels, and some of the concepts in some of the media I've seen. All right, so let me see. All right, so we're out of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, Moorish. All right, so pardon me. Hopefully it's visible, but I want to start here by reading this part right here. All right, so on creation, the creation and the fall of man. All right, time never was when man was not. If the life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be, because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yeah, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a spirit that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplas, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of water, earth, and air. That's something right there. So spirit, fire, water, earth, and air all have spirit. Oh, we take note of that. All right, back to it. Hear now, oh, everything that is or was or evermore will be. For wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting, of the past unto the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potence of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now seeds are perfect. Yeah, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfold unto life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow, unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became Lord of all the kingdoms of soul. Hark now, let every creature hear, the plane of the soul is but the ether of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast, and in the slower rhythm of their plane the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations of all of love manifest. Let's see. And these soul attributes became a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul, and here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundaries of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essence took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors and the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest, a nature that sprung forth from fleshly things. All right, so when it says a man must pass through all the stages, or like all the planes, to my understanding, it's the lowest plane is the plane made manifest, and then it will be the soul plane, and then after that it will be the spirit plane. All right, let's continue. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all plane of manifest, of protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he gave up his birthright just to gratify his lower self. But man will begin to lose man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun, and spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffered on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Then he will stand untrammeled on the plane of soul, where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. These he must overcome, overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. See, I spoke about this, me and my brother. We were speaking on, if you've ever seen the show, Sandman, and one of the angels, Dreamer the Endless, went to hell and confronted Lucifer, a fallen angel, and they had a contest of words, and their words were creating a reality. And Dreamer the Endless almost lost that battle of words, but the last thing he used for victory was hope. He almost lost, but then he said hope, and that was his light, and that was the beacon. And that's wild how it's actually written right here, and how I pulled that, how me and my brother were having this conversation, and how this is literally written right here. Hope is the beacon light for your victory. All right, let's continue. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have full opened out, will have unfolded in the holy breath. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and at one with Allah. See, I thought that was pretty powerful, especially when it comes to these angels, the cherubim and the seraphim, and how hope is a beacon light in the darkness. And after we complete this part of life, the manifest part of life that we know, we'll go into the spirit, or we'll go into the soul plane, and we will have to face unnumbered foes. Unnumbered foes will stand before man, and then we will have to overcome each and every one of them before we can ascend to the next stage of life, fam. Like that's the understanding I got from that. Flip this back around. See, when I was reading, I was like, yo, this is strong, because I got this download on November 27th about like angels and watching us. Because I've seen throughout the internet a few other creators have been talking about the prophetic or the biblical version of angels, like the actual description of how they describe angels of being like a wheel of wings and like an eye, a floating eye, or wings with eyes floating, things of that nature. So also how the angel appeared to Isaiah in his trials, all right, in the Bible, how the angel appeared to Isaiah. It said that the angel has 6 wings. It used 2 to fly, it used 2 to cover its eyes, and it used another 2 to cover its feet. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about that and why I think that was significant, and like a depiction of how an angel, a messenger of God, like a servant of God, will be cherubim and seraphim, angels and archangels, which are the higher, more powerful angels. And also there was a talisman found, like a pendant found in Turkey, that it was a talisman or a pendant of King Solomon, and that pendant actually had the name of 4 archangels written on it. It's pretty cool. I might actually post that in this video. But I came to think about this topic of like angels because, of course, like it's been, like I said, things going around the internet about what angels actually look like. And then I was thinking about like how almost every creature has eyes, and there are many creatures with wings, of course, birds and insects, right? And I'm like, if there is like eyes of God, if any creature sees you whenever you think you are alone, it could be a fly on the wall, it could be a spider in the corner, it could be a bird sitting in a tree when you're out in the woods alone, it could be any eyes that are on you when you think that you're alone, could potentially be the eyes of God. Could be one of those eyes of an angel watching you. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. And us indigenous people also believe like our ancestors can take the form of like animals, like spirit animals, right? Spirit animals, spirit guides, to warn us, to try to guide us and protect us. And a lot of times, some of those creatures are, winged creatures, falcons, eagles, hawks, owls, creatures that rely on their wings and their eyes, So I just want to make that connection when it comes to like the eyes and the wheels of wings in the sky. Pardon me. Also, along with that, there was like, I guess like some pictures that was allegedly taken of like outer space, and it was said that something like that was seen in outer space. It was like an eye with like a wheel, like a wheel of light around it. If you've ever seen that video online, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so also, along with souls, all right, something I wanted to bring up about souls. When it comes to like, okay, say when it's the day of judgment, and you know how there's the saying that your heart has to be lighter than a feather, and that somebody will be like the judge of you. They say it's Peter. It'll be Peter standing at the gate who will be like the judge of you. That's like biblically, right? So it'll be Peter standing at the gate, preparing to like, judge you whether or not you're going to be let in. There's other cultures where they say it's going to be an angel sitting with a scale, and they're going to weigh your heart against a feather. Whether or not your heart is heavy or lighter than that feather will be deciding factor whether or not you will be let into heaven or you will be sent damned to hell, type of thing, right? So I was always thinking that whenever someone thinks that they're possibly alone, and how you would get an account of your entire life if we have a piece of Allah in us, like the spirit of Allah is in us. That spirit could be our own angel, could be like our soul as an angel or our spirit, right? And that piece of Allah can give a testimony, an account of all of our deeds against ourselves. Like just imagine the best part of you stepping out of your physical being and giving an account of everything you've done, because like you were always there with you at every single moment. You were always making a choice. Like in the old cartoons back in the day, they would show like someone having a dilemma. On their like right shoulder and on their left shoulder, there would be like two entities. Like one takes the form of an angel, the other takes the form of like a devil. So it's like the higher self and lower self. You're always giving yourself your own counsel, right? And you don't always have to listen to that angel that's on the right side of your shoulder. You know, sometimes people fall victim to their lower self or their carnal self, and they listen to that devil on their left shoulder, you know, like, or vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's always an angel with you. Like, there's sayings that every person, every soul has an angel assigned to them. And then like old stories of before an angel can get its wings or something like that, before an angel can get its wings, it has to guide another soul and try to like save another soul from damnation or something like that. If you know about these stories, they've been shown in media over the years. I think it's shown a lot less now, but if you've even ever seen the old movie Angels in the Outfield, my man's Al was, you know, the angel that was talking to the boy because he had a prayer for his team, the Cubs, you know, to win in baseball. It's an old school movie called Angels in the Outfield. You know, check it out if you've never seen it. But, you know, everybody has an angel assigned to them. At least that's how the story goes. All right, so along with that, so those biblical versions of angels, like say how when they say that an angel appeared to Isaiah and they put an angel put a coal in his mouth, something like that. They say it had 6 wings and it appeared, I guess, close to human form, you know, in a form that wouldn't completely obliterate you if you looked upon it, because those were some of the abilities and the gifts of some of the angels if they appeared in their true form, like the eye and the wheels of wings. If they appear like that to us, they say that we wouldn't be able to withstand the presence of it, like, you know, disintegrate it. They like how we just read in the Circle 7, there's angels that are the power of the sun. All right. Even in ancient texts in the Quran, it would say like things like jinns are made out of fire. All right. And it was said that angels were made out of fire before the Most High made man out of dust, out of dirt, soil. Right. So the angels were said to have been made out of fire, and it makes sense that we just read that they have the spirit and they are like the essence of the sun and the essence of the stars. Like, literally just read that. And here it says, Allah, who rules the solar stars, are his protectors. Yeah. So it makes sense. It's starting to make sense, right? So if an angel appeared in more of a human form and only had 6 wings, they say that when it appeared to Isaiah in this form, this angel used 2 wings to fly and 2 wings to cover its eyes and then 2 wings to cover its feet. Now, there's a saying that says the eyes are the windows to the soul. So in order for an angel to potentially protect you and protect itself, it will cover its eyes, for therefore you wouldn't be able to look into its soul, or it wouldn't peer and burn you by looking like deep into your soul. You get what I'm saying? It also brings me to if you've ever seen Ghost Rider, all right, the Marvel character Ghost Rider, he has this ability, this move called the Pennant Stare. And the Pennant Stare is pretty much a move that comes out of his eyes, that he looks into the soul of whatever being he's facing, and it brings all of their evil deeds, and it turns it into like fire, and it burns their soul from the inside out. It's like nothing can escape this Pennant Stare. That's one of the powers of Ghost Rider. Now that brings me to think that angels would also have this power, this Pennant Stare type power that can look deep into one's soul, and it will burn you for all the misdeeds, all the sins that you have done. So in order for this angel to appear to you and protect you, protect itself, it will cover its eyes so it won't be doing this pain and stare on you. And if you think about the bottom of the feet, in Christian faith, there's a like a custom of washing someone's feet to show to purify someone, to show respect and things of that nature, even forgiveness. You wash someone's feet. What is the bottom of your feet called? I'm asking you this question as you're watching me. What's the bottom of your feet called? The sole, right? The sole of your feet. It's a reason it must be called the sole of your feet, man. So if this angel used two wings to cover its feet, which are the sole, and 2 wings to cover its eyes, which are the windows to the soul, that kind of makes sense why it would do something like that. You get what I'm saying? That's how my understanding has come full circle. Hopefully you're following this. This video might be another 15 minutes or so. This is a really good one. I really would love to have a conversation about this. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this topic. All right, next. All right, I've been rewatching the old school Justice League cartoon. They used to come on Cartoon Network back in the day. It was a banger. All right, so one episode of the Justice League I was watching, it was an episode of Solomon Grundy. All right, now listen, his name is Solomon. You know what I'm saying? Solomon as the son of David, son of King David. You know what I'm saying? So the story of Solomon Grundy, he's like a zombie dude. And he has super strength and all that stuff. He's always fighting Superman and Justice League and him. He's like a villain, a bad guy. But he just so happened to team up with Dr. Fate and Aquaman, and they were doing a ritual where they were gonna use him, his undead soul, and the Atlantean trident in a magical spell in order to stop some creature from coming. All right, so they whole party get broken up by Superman, Wonder Woman, and somebody else, Hawk Girl, right? So they busted the whole party, stopped them from completing this ritual. And during this time, they try to figure out another way to stop this creature from coming. And during this time, Dr. Fate looks into Solomon Grundy's past, because since he was undead and he was cursed, the reason why he was undead and came back as a zombie, he was cursed. And during this process, he lost his soul, and he also forgot his identity. So he was always driven by gold. The reason he even teamed up with Dr. Fate and Aquaman is because Aquaman promised him Atlantean gold. And you know how many ships have sank, and that there's plenty of gold and silver at the bottom of the ocean, right? So of course, Aquaman offered him some gold. Solomon Grundy loved gold. So as Dr. Fate is going through his past, he figured out that he used to be like a villain, a crook when he was alive, and he was always robbing banks and stealing gold and stuff, right? So he loved gold. He ended up being betrayed, and his soul was cursed, and he was thrown in a swamp. He came back as Solomon Grundy, the undead. Short backstory. But once he found out what his real name was and his past, he said forget gold, he wants his soul back. That was his strongest motivation ever. So it's silver and gold is a powerful motivator, fam. But if you lose something as valuable as your soul, I'm sure if you have the opportunity to fight to get it back, to do whatever you can to get it back, I'm sure anybody will try to do whatever they can to try to reclaim something as valuable, as precious as a soul. So that episode really hit me. I was like, dang, man, Solomon Grundy is going hard to try to get his soul back, he's really fighting with everything he got. Check out the episode of Justice League, fam. It was a banger for sure. So I was like, wow, this is important, And then it got me to thinking, how can a soul be lost? And I'm thinking of like all the media I've consumed over the years, all the information I know personally about souls being forfeit, stolen, lost, things of that nature, traded, bartered with, you know. There's different stories you could look into, you know, different concepts, even, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, Mortal Kombat, you know, things of that nature. But check this out. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Prove me wrong. Let me know any examples you might have. But can a soul truly be lost? Like, and when I say lost, I mean, other than these three ways, can a soul be taken from you? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I believe you can sell your soul, which means you have to give some sort of consent that your soul is up for whatever deal, whatever barter you're making, all right? I also believe a soul can be forfeit, which once again, your soul is up as some sort of deal. And if you back out of said deal, if you renege on said deal, if you lose at said deal or wager or contest, your soul is then forfeit, which means there is also another level of consent. You have to consent to it. And then lastly, I believe a soul can be sacrificed. Now, this one could potentially be the most involuntary form of a way of a soul being harvested. If you've ever heard of a technique called spirit cooking, like the process of preparing a soul to be harvested, as far as my understanding of the technique, that's what it is. It's doing different rituals, different activities, to prepare a soul to be harvested from maybe a living vessel, a living being, right? So that got me thinking, like, can a soul really be stolen? Like, if you don't give your consent or permission for your soul to be dealt with, to be dealt, to be lost in some way, shape, or form, I don't believe it can be just taken from you. All right, so, and that got me thinking of Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine. Most people know that. Most people know that iconic phrase, right? You know, you fight Shang Tsung and you lose in a battle against him, and he can relieve you of your soul because you no longer have the ability to fight and protect your soul from being taken from you. You get what I'm saying? Like, that will be like some of the most violent ways I could imagine a soul being taken. But yet, once again, you have the option of you had to fight for it. In entering that contest, that battle with Shang Tsung, you knew that your soul would be on the line if you fail. You know what I'm saying? So there's also a level of consent to someone losing their soul. That's why when you hear about artists and celebrities talking about these deals, these contracts that they've signed, these covenants that they've made, and they lost their soul in these covenants, that they sold their soul, that they signed their soul away with these contracts, man, it's a level of consent. Their soul was not taken involuntarily. They were not just relieved of their soul involuntarily without them giving some level of consent, some way of saying, yes, I agree to this deal. That's my understanding of how a soul can potentially be taken and lost. Hopefully that didn't go too far over your heads. I'm telling you, I've given some thought to this, fam. I've really given some thought to this, and this is one of the most deep topics I've really put out here to have a conversation with all of you following. You know what I'm saying? So let me know how I'm doing. Some real deep stuff. Another way is in Yu Yu Hakusho, an anime. Even if you've watched the recent live action movie, the recent live action series that was on Netflix, Yu Yu Hakusho, Spirit Detective, right? One of his first missions was to go against Hiei, Karama, and this orc dude. I want to name his name is like Goki. But they stole these artifacts from Spirit World. There was a demon sword that Hiei had. There was the Forlorn Hope. It was like a mirror that Karama had, And then there was the Orb of Boz, which was taken by like Goki, the orc dude, which this orb had the abilities to steal living souls out of like children, I believe. And there was a lot of children just like falling unconscious and they wouldn't wake up. And there was, like it was on the news, and they were saying how some mysterious illness may be going around because children are just falling out and they're not waking up. And behind those children falling out and not waking up was this demon, Goki, who was using the Orb of Boz to pluck living souls from these children. So Yusuke, with his ability to see his spirit awareness, he could see like a child fall out in the middle of a park and like a little orb come from their body and start traveling over in a direction. And he started following this spirit orb to Goki in order to figure out, hey, it's him who's stealing these souls. So that's another reason I feel like souls just being taken involuntarily is one of the most, I want to use the word taboo, but it's very unlikely because someone has to give some level of consent or permission in order for their soul to be taken. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that this artifact, this item in Yu Yu Hakusho, in their world, the fact that this item was so forbidden is because, souls can normally never be taken without some form of consent. All right. And that leads me to another point. When it comes to children, there's a saying that children have the most powerful guardian angels assigned to them because children are more vulnerable. Children are innocent and pure. So it would make sense that the Most High would assign some of the most powerful angels to protect and watch over the souls and the spirits of children until they're old enough, to kind of fend for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or at least, that's how the old sayings and the stories go. So I really hope this making sense to you. Let me know how I'm doing down below and leave some thumbs up and like my video. All right, before we close it out, I want to speak about souls, how souls are your light. All right, and the reason I say this is I think souls are really the light that is within our human, our human vessel, our human bodies. Because if you've ever heard the phrase, when someone or something dies, it has been said that like the person who saw them die or the person who killed them would say something like, I watched the light leave their eyes, or all the light has left their eyes. And usually when someone says something like that, when they saw the light leave someone's eyes, that means like that's the time that person like died. Like their soul could have potentially left their body. They have no more life in them. You know what I'm saying? So that's usually when someone says they watched the light leave someone's eyes. And it's like, that means that they watched this person die and they watch, the life leave them. And that's why I believe like your soul is really your light. Your soul is really your light. Yeah, I really wanted to drive that point home. Let me know how I did. I know this video was a little long, but I really wanted to make this video about angels, archangels, and souls, and how I really just thought this was a very, very interesting subject and a topic. Once again, this is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American More. Like, share, subscribe, share. I'm out. Peace.